Picture this. Canada, the land of maple syrup, hockey, and unity, is cracking at the seams. Right now in Alberta and Saskatchewan, a rebellion is brewing, a movement so fierce it could redraw the map of our nation. Separatism isn't just a whisper anymore. It's a roar, and it's shaking the very foundation of Canada. Welcome to Politically Canadian, where we cut through the noise to bring you the truth. I'm David, and today we're diving headfirst into the rise of separatism in Alberta and Saskatchewan. What's driving it? What does it mean for our country? Buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride. Hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. Let's lay it out, no fluff. Separatism in Alberta and Saskatchewan is a growing cry for independence from Canada, fueled by folks who feel Ottawa's got its boot on their necks. In Alberta, the oil-rich heart of the West, polls show 36% of people, over 1 in 3, would vote to leave Canada if a referendum happened today. That's up from 30% just a month ago, according to the Angus Reid Institute in April 2025. Saskatchewan's not far behind, with 33% ready to bolt. That's a lot of prairie passion saying, we're done. So, what's got them so fired up? It's a cocktail of frustration, history, and economics. Alberta's been Canada's economic engine, pumping billions into federal coffers through oil and gas. But many Albertans feel they get a raw deal. Think equalization payments, where their tax dollars seem to flow east to provinces like Quebec, while Ottawa slaps on policies they see as anti-energy, like carbon taxes or pipeline roadblocks. Saskatchewan, with its farming and resource backbone, echoes the same gripe. We give more than we get, and Ottawa doesn't care. This isn't new. Western alienation's been simmering since the 1980s, but the re-election of the Liberals under Mark Carney in April 2025 poured gasoline on the fire. Now, here's where it gets spicy. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith dropped a bombshell with Bill 54, passed in May 2025. It slashes the number of signatures needed for a referendum from 20% of voters to just 10% of votes cast in the last election. That's 177,000 signatures to trigger a vote on splitting from Canada. Groups like the Alberta Prosperity Project are already rallying, aiming for 600,000 signatures. Saskatchewan's Premier Scott Moe hasn't ruled out following suit, hinting the people will decide. This isn't just talk. It's action, and it's moving fast. So, why is 2025 the year separatism's gone from fringe to front page? Let's break it down. First, there's the economic sting. Alberta's oil industry took a hit when global prices spiked after some oil-rich nations cut exports to North America. Federal policies like the emissions cap feel like a slap to an industry already on its knees. Saskatchewan farmers, meanwhile, face trade barriers and costs they blame on Ottawa's disconnect. It's not just money, it's pride. Only 24% of Albertans and 25% of Saskatchewanians feel respected by the rest of Canada, per Angus Reid. That's a gut punch. Then there's politics. The Liberals' fourth straight win, powered by votes in Ontario and Quebec, left Westerners feeling like their voices don't matter. Alberta sent just 2 Liberal MPs to Ottawa out of 37 seats. Saskatchewan? 0. It's like shouting into a void. Add to that US President Donald Trump's wild card, his talk of annexing Canada, as the 51st state has some in Alberta, especially rural folks, wondering if they'd fit better south of the border. A Polara poll found 27% of Albertans think they'd be better off in the US. That's not a majority, but it's a loud minority. History's also a player here. Alberta's been kicking against Ottawa since the National Energy Program in 1980, which capped oil prices and sparked the first big separatist wave. Saskatchewan's had its own flirtations, like the Unionist Party in the 1980s, pushing to join the US. Today's movement feels different, though. More organized, with groups like the Republican Party of Alberta and Wexit Canada gaining traction. Social media is amplifying it too. Posts on X show Albertans saying, We've hit critical mass, and Saskatchewan folks echoing, "We won't stand alone." This isn't a tantrum, it's a calculated push. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. What does this mean for Canada's unity? Spoiler alert, it's complicated. If Alberta and Saskatchewan seriously pursue separation, it could spark a constitutional crisis unlike anything since Quebec's 1995 referendum. Canada's a federation stitched together by compromise, and losing two provinces would be like pulling threads from a sweater. The economic fallout alone is staggering. Alberta and Saskatchewan contribute massively to Canada's GDP. Think oil, gas, and agriculture. An independent West could disrupt trade, with experts like Trevor Tomby warning of giant startup costs for things like a new tax system or border controls. Then there's the ripple effect. If Alberta goes, Saskatchewan might follow, and some even talk about British Columbia's rural north joining a Western bloc. Posts on X suggest Quebec could rethink its place if the West bolts, though 84% of Quebecers say independence there is unlikely, per the Hub. Losing 50 Conservative seats from the House of Commons would tilt Canada's politics hard left, potentially creating a Liberal-dominated state, as one X user put it, like Cuba, but with pink hair. On the flip side, the rest of Canada might rally around the flag, as Polara notes a 19-point jump in national pride since Trump's annexation threats. But here's the kicker. First Nations are pushing back hard. Treaties signed between 1871 and 1921 predate Alberta and Saskatchewan's entry into Confederation in 1905. Chiefs like Bobby Cameron of the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations say any separation ignoring treaties violates constitutional and international law. Onion Lake Cree Nations reviving a lawsuit against Alberta's Sovereignty Act, calling it a separatist ploy. This isn't just a provincial fight. It's a clash of rights, history, and identity that could tie up courts for years. Now, let's keep it real. Separatism isn't a done deal. Most Albertans and Saskatchewanians, around 70%, still want to stay in Canada, per Angus Reid. Many see separation as a bargaining chip, not a breakup. Folks like Steve Laughlin in Lethbridge say, "We need to come together, not split apart." Even some conservatives, like former Premier Jason Kenney, call separatism unpatriotic, and a lot of bark with little bite. They argue Ottawa could cool tensions by tweaking policies, like scrapping the emissions cap or boosting Western representation in the Senate, where Alberta and Saskatchewan get just 6 seats each, compared to 10 for smaller provinces like Nova Scotia. What's next? It depends on both sides. Premier Smith's walking a tightrope, pushing sovereignty within a united Canada while enabling referendum talk. Prime Minister Carney, an Albertan himself, says Canada is stronger together, but he'll need to address Western grievances to keep the peace. Economists warn separatism could scare off investors, as seen in Catalonia's 2017 referendum, which tanked its economy. Yet if Ottawa listens, maybe greenlighting pipelines or reforming equalization, these provinces might stay in the fold. The Alberta Prosperity Project's petition drive starting July 4th, 2025, and is the one to watch. If they hit their signature goal, we could see a referendum by 2026. Canada's at a crossroads, folks. Alberta and Saskatchewan's separatist surge is a wake-up call, a clash of identity, economics, and history that's testing our nation's glue. Will we fracture, or will we find a way to stitch ourselves back together? That's the question, and it's why Politically Canadian is here, to dig deep, stay real, and keep you in the know. What do you think? Is separation a pipe dream or a real threat? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you love this deep dive, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Share this with your friends, because Canada's future is our future. I'm David, and I'll see you next time on Politically Canadian. Stay curious, stay Canadian.